All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning. I'm Anuja Kumar and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. BJP National Executive to meet in New Delhi today to discuss forthcoming assembly elections and other issues. Prime Minister Narendra Modi rated the most popular world leader. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 108 crore mark. France to help India in advanced military technologies. Haryana government notifies Act for 75% reservation for local youth in private sector to come into force from January the 15th. Former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh sent to 14-day judicial custody in money laundering case. IMD warns of heavy rain in several areas in Maharashtra today. Normal life affected in Chennai and neighbouring districts due to overnight rains. India's Saurabh Chaudhary bagged silver and Abhishek Verma bronze in men's 10-meter air pistol event at President's Cup shooting in Wrocław, Poland. And in T20 Cricket World Cup, South Africa beat England by 10 runs in Sharjah. As India created history by administering over 100 crore vaccine doses against COVID-19, All India Radio salutes all the doctors, nurses, other frontline workers and all those who got vaccinated and made this possible. Even though the country has achieved this feat, we caution our listeners that the battle against COVID is not yet over. We appeal to our listeners to get fully vaccinated at the earliest and also help others get vaccinated. During the festival season, please follow these 3 simple steps. Wear a face mask, maintain 2 gaz ki duri for social distancing, focus on hand and face hygiene. For any COVID-related information and guidance, contact national helpline numbers 011-2397-8046 and 1075. And now, the news in detail. The National Executive of the BJP will meet in New Delhi today. The meeting will commence with the inaugural address of the BJP President Jagat Prakash Nadda and conclude with the valedictory address of the Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Briefing media in New Delhi, BJP National General Secretary Arun Singh said that all senior party leaders who are members of the National Working Committee are going to participate in the meeting. He added that the National Executive will discuss the forthcoming assembly elections in 5 states and other current issues.
सभी राष्ट्रीय कार्य समिति सदस्यों को यहाँ नहीं बुलाया गया है. इसे संबंधित राज्य के मुख्यमंत्री, प्रदेश अध्यक्ष एवं वहाँ से राष्ट्रीय कार्य समिति के सदस्य प्रदेश कार्यालय में बैठ करके वर्चुअली 2-वे कम्युनिकेशन के माध्यम से चर्चा में भाग लेंगे. इस बैठक में प्रस्ताव वियोग पे चर्चा होगी और उसी के साथ साथ आगामी विधानसभा के 5 राज्यों के जो चुनाव होने वाले उस पे विशेष चर्चा होगी और उस पे मंथन होगा.
In view of the COVID protocols, the meeting will take place in a hybrid manner in which some leaders will be present physically while others will join virtually. This will be the first physical national executive meeting of the BJP after the COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has emerged as the top of the global leader approval ratings. In a recent survey conducted by a US data firm, Morning Consult Political Intelligence, Narendra Modi's approval rating is the highest among world leaders. Mr. Modi is at the top of the list with 70% approval rating. He received the maximum approval among adults across the world. He remains at over 60% in approval ratings since Morning Consult started collecting data in 2019. Mexican President Andrés Manuel López Obrador stood at the second place with 66%, followed by Italian Prime Minister Mario Draghi with 58% approval ratings. US President Joe Biden lies at the 6th spot with 44%, while United Kingdom's Boris Johnson rounded the top 10 with 40%. Morning Consult Political Intelligence tracks the approval rating for governmental leaders in 13 countries, including Australia, Canada, France, Germany, India, Italy and Japan. It updates the data for all 13 countries on a weekly basis, offering real-time insight into the shifting political dynamics across the globe.
France has emphasized partnership with India as a major pillar of its Indo-Pacific strategy. It has stressed upon its continuing commitment to the Indo-Pacific region as a resident power. This was highlighted during National Security Advisor Ajit Doval's visit to Paris for the annual India-France Strategic Dialogue. During the visit, Mr. Doval met French Defense Minister Florence Parly. The Indian Embassy in Paris tweeted on Saturday that both leaders discussed ways to expand bilateral and regional cooperation, deal with new threats, and support India's defense industrialization and self-reliance. The National Security Advisor also met French Foreign Minister Jean-Yves Le Drian. According to an official statement, India and France agreed to strengthen bilateral defense and security partnership. This will be done through enhanced intelligence and information sharing, operational cooperation, bolstering mutual capabilities, and expanding bilateral exercises. New initiatives in maritime, space, and cyber domains will also be pursued. France reiterated its commitment to fully support Prime Minister Narendra Modi's vision of Atmanirbhar Bharat and defense industrialization, joint research, and technology development in India. Both the countries also agreed that emerging trends in global affairs reinforce the need for closer partnership between the two countries, including in the UN Security Council and other UN forums. Building on the successful India-France initiative on International Solar Alliance, the two sides also stressed the need to accelerate cooperation in clean energy, including civil nuclear energy and green hydrogen. India's COVID vaccination coverage has crossed 108 crore mark. Till now, more than 108 crore 18 lakh vaccine doses have been administered. Health Ministry said more than 25 lakh 54,000 vaccine doses were administered yesterday.
Bahrain has relaxed quarantine measures for vaccinated Indian travellers. Passengers travelling from India to Bahrain with a COVID-19 vaccination certificate issued in India will be exempted from mandatory 10 days of quarantine. The vaccines taken should be approved by the WHO or by the Kingdom of Bahrain. In a tweet, the Embassy of India in Bahrain informed that these passengers will also be exempted from pre-arrival negative RT-PCR certificate.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. BJP National Executive to meet in New Delhi today to discuss forthcoming assembly elections and other issues. Prime Minister Narendra Modi rated the most popular world leader. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 108 crore mark. France to help India in advanced military technologies. Haryana government notifies Act for 75% reservation for local youth in private sector to come into force from January 15. Former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh sent to 14-day judicial custody in money laundering case. IMD warns of heavy rain in several areas in Maharashtra today. Normal life affected in Chennai and neighbouring districts due to overnight rains. India's Saurabh Chaudhary bagged silver and Abhishek Verma bronze in men's 10-meter air pistol event at President's Cup shooting in Wrocław, Poland. And in T20 Cricket World Cup, South Africa beat England by 10 runs in Sharjah. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle at AIR News Alerts. चलो मिलकर एक शुरुआत करें, चलो एक फैसला आज करें, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे, चलो एक इरादा करते हैं, चलो कुछ वादा करते हैं, मास्क नहीं तो टोकेंगे, कोरोना को रोकेंगे.
आजादी के आंदोलन के खजाने में ऐसे ढेरों शब्द जिन्होंने बदल दिए इतिहास. तारीख बदलने वाले लफ्जों पर आकाशवाणी समाचार ला रहा है विशेष कार्यक्रम धरोहर हर सोमवार.
Welcome back to the morning news on All India Radio. A special Mumbai court has remanded former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh to 14-day judicial custody in connection with a money laundering case. Enforcement Directorate (ED) probing the case sought his remand for 9 more days, but the court refused the probe agency's plea and sent him to judicial custody. Deshmukh was arrested by the ED on Monday night after 12 hours of questioning. A court had on Tuesday remanded him in the agency's custody till 6th of November. He was produced before the special court at the end of his ED custody yesterday. The money laundering case against Deshmukh and others was made out after the CBI booked him in a corruption case related to allegations of at least 100 crore rupees bribery made by former Mumbai Police Commissioner Parambir Singh. The ED had initiated a probe against Deshmukh and his associates after the CBI filed its FIR against the NCP leader on 21st of April on charges of corruption and misuse of official position. Haryana government has notified the State Employment of Local Candidates Act 2020, which will come into force from January 15 next year. The Act was passed on March the 2nd this year to provide 75% reservation to the local youth in employment in the private sector. In a statement, Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar said the upper limit of gross monthly salary under the Act has been reduced from 50,000 rupees to 30,000 rupees. The Act will be applicable to employees of private sector companies, societies, trusts, limited liability partnership firms, and any person who employs 10 or more persons on salary, wages, or other remuneration for the purpose of manufacturing, carrying on business, or rendering any service in Haryana. We have more from a correspondent.
Chief Minister Manohar Lal said the government is continuously ensuring employment opportunities for the youth. He said that the present state government had made this promise before coming to power, which the government has fulfilled in a span of just 2 years. This is an unprecedented step that will benefit thousands of youth across the state. He said that while government jobs are being given on the basis of merit in the state, on the other hand, ensuring employment opportunities for the youth of the state in the private sector is also a commendable achievement. With all these efforts, the Haryana government aims to make Haryana Berozgar Mukt Rozgar Yukt by 2024. Ashwini Kumar Sharma, AIR News, Chandigarh.
The employer may claim exemption where the adequate number of local candidates of the desired skill, qualification or proficiency is not available by applying to the designated officer. The violation of any provision of this Act will be punishable offence.
Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu will inaugurate the 6th International Dharma Dhamma Conference at Nalanda University, NU, in Nalanda district of Bihar today. The theme of the 3-day conference is Role of Dharma Dhamma Traditions in Building a Post-COVID World. Nalanda University Vice-Chancellor Sunaina Singh said 200 delegates, dignitaries, statesmen, scholars and those associated with religious organizations from across the globe will participate in the conference. Governor Phagu Chauhan, Chief Minister Nitish Kumar and a minister from Sri Lanka government will also deliberate at the inaugural function. The Vice President will also address the second convocation of Dr. Rajendra Prasad Central Agriculture University on the premises of Pandit Deen Dayal Upadhyay Horticulture and Forestry College at Piparakoti in Motihari in East Champaran district. Vice-Chancellor Professor Ramesh Chandra Srivastava told AIR News that 850 students of agriculture and allied subjects will be awarded degree at the event.
महामहिम उपराष्ट्रपति विश्वविद्यालय के द्वितीय दीक्षांत समारोह में अपना दीक्षांत भाषण देंगे। करीब 850 बच्चों को डिग्री दी जाएगी। उन 850 बच्चों में करीब 300 से 350 बच्चे प्रेजेंट रहेंगे। बाकियों को इन एब्सेंसिया दी जाएगी और 3 बिल्डिंग्स का हमारे हॉर्टिकल्चर कॉलेज की हैं और साथ ही बेतिया में एक हमारा बना है सेंटर फॉर इम्प्रूवमेंट एंड कंजर्वेशन ऑफ इंडिजिनस कैटल, उसका भी वो उद्घाटन करेंगे।
Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has asked people to remain extra vigilant as the infection of Zika virus is spreading rapidly. Government has established an integrated command center to prevent the spread of infection. The number of patients infected with Zika virus has reached 79 in the district, with 13 more patients identified yesterday with the symptoms. Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath asked officials to continuously monitor each and every patient. Team of health officials has been deputed in command center, which is working round the clock and monitoring the situation.
In Mumbai, 2 persons died in a fire incident yesterday. The fire was reported at around 8:30 p.m. on the 14th floor of a 15-story building in Kandivali area of Mumbai suburb. 2 persons were taken to nearby hospitals, but they were declared brought dead. Mumbai Fire Brigade extinguished the fire around midnight. Iraq's Prime Minister Mustafa al-Kadhimi survived an assassination attempt with armed drones that targeted his residence early this morning. The incident occurred in Baghdad's heavily fortified Green Zone area. Iraqi military said al-Kadhimi is unharmed and in good health. It said security forces are taking the necessary measures in connection with this failed attempt. In a statement, the government said the drones tried to hit al-Kadhimi's home. It is not clear who was behind the attack, nor did anyone immediately claim the responsibility. In Sierra Leone, the death toll has reached 98 in a massive explosion when a fuel tanker collided with a lorry in capital Freetown. Fuel spilled before igniting, and the resulting inferno engulfed bystanders and vehicles at a busy junction. The explosion is believed to have happened at a junction outside the busy Koitram supermarket in the densely populated Wellington suburb in the east of the city on Friday. Sierra Leone's National Disaster Management Agency said the vehicles collided when the tanker was entering a nearby filling station to discharge its fuel.
As our nation celebrates the 75th year of independence, a series of events are being organized by the government as part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. To commemorate the occasion as Jan Utsav, All India Radio News brings its listeners a special quiz on India's freedom movement and its glorious history. The quiz is being conducted every Monday and Tuesday in the morning news. It will continue till 15th of August 2022. And now, let's listen to our special program, Azadi Ka Safar, highlighting the importance of the day during the freedom struggle.
आजादी का अमृत महोत्सव।
Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. Birth of a nation. India's glorious freedom struggle is one of the greatest struggles the modern world has ever witnessed. AIR News brings you a glimpse of this struggle every day.
In today's episode, we remember one of the greatest freedom fighters, Bipin Chandra Pal, who was born on November the 7th, 1858, in Sylhet region of British India, which is now in Bangladesh. An early leader of the Indian nationalist movement, Pal was one of the Lal Bal Pal triumvirate, which also included Lala Lajpat Rai and Bal Gangadhar Tilak.
The trio used to question the method of petitions followed by moderates and argued for direct action to achieve political objectives.
In 1886, Bipin Chandra Pal joined the Indian National Congress, and at the Madras session of 1887, he made a strong plea for repeal of the Arms Act, which was discriminatory in nature.
The Bengal partition of 1905 shook Bipin Chandra Pal deeply. He launched the journal Bande Mataram in 1906, which Aurobindo Ghosh soon joined as editor. Bipin Chandra Pal is known as the father of revolutionary thoughts in India. Along with Aurobindo Ghosh, he is recognized as the chief exponent of a new national movement revolving around the ideals of Purna Swaraj, Swadeshi, boycott and national education.
Bipin Chandra Pal also helped set up Anushilan Samiti that supported revolutionary violence as a means for ending British rule in India and inculcated nationalist spirit among youth through weekly classes and interactions. He had no faith in mild protests in the form of non-cooperation, and on that one issue, he differed with Mahatma Gandhi.
In 1920, Pal was among the senior leaders who opposed Gandhi's resolution on non-cooperation over the fact that it didn't address self-government.
Bipin Chandra Pal made his efforts to remove social and economic ills. He opposed the caste system and advocated widow remarriage. After his first wife died, he married a widow and joined the Brahmo Samaj. Bipin Chandra Pal was a multifaceted personality that included being a leader, teacher, journalist, orator and writer. All India Radio salutes the nationalistic spirit of the great freedom fighter. Today we also remember freedom fighter and educationist Ashwini Kumar Datta, who left us on 7th November 1923. The partition of Bengal drew Datta to the Swadeshi movement, and he founded the Swadesh Bandhab Samiti to promote indigenous products and boycott foreign goods. In 1908, the government of the newly formed Eastern Bengal and Assam banned the Swadesh Bandhab Samiti and jailed Datta in Lucknow.
বিধির বাঁধন কাটবে তুমি এমন শক্তিমান তুমি কি এমনি শক্তিমান আমাদের ভাঙা গড়া তোমার হাতে এমন অভিমান তোমাদের এমনি অভিমান.
In 1921, Mahatma Gandhi visited Barisal to show respect to the great leader. All India Radio salutes this great patriot who strives to work for the Indian public till the end of his life.
Today, we also remember freedom fighter and Bharat Ratna Chidambaram Subramaniam, who died on 7th November 2000. During his college days itself, he was an active member of the civil disobedience movement against the British and was imprisoned during the Quit India movement in 1942. He was later elected to the Constituent Assembly and helped in the framing of the Constitution of India.
After independence, he served as Union Minister on many occasions and later also served as the Governor of Maharashtra. As the Union Minister for Food and Agriculture, he helped usher in the Indian Green Revolution. He was conferred with the Bharat Ratna in 1998. We salute this great Indian nationalist. That brings us to the end of this episode of Azadi Ka Safar with AIR News. See you in the next episode tomorrow.
IMD has warned of heavy rain in several areas of Maharashtra today due to a low pressure area in the Arabian Sea. While the low pressure area is moving away from the Indian coast, there is a possibility of it bringing heavy downpour in the state. A yellow alert has been issued in Ratnagiri and Sindhudurg districts for today. Thunderstorms with lightning and gusty winds at isolated places are expected in these districts. Regional Meteorological Center Mumbai said light rains are also expected in some parts of Raigad, Pune, Kolhapur, Satara and Sangli districts. In Tamil Nadu, Regional Met Department said that a low pressure area is likely to form over Southeast Bay of Bengal in 2 days. The low pressure area is likely to move west-northwestwards towards the North Tamil Nadu coast. Our Chennai correspondent reports that normal life is affected in Chennai and neighbouring districts due to overnight rains.
Normal life has been thrown out of gear as rains which began in Chennai yesterday continued to pound the city overnight, creating a surge of water in low-lying areas. Several areas have recorded minimum of 5 centimeters and a maximum of 16 centimeter rains. Advisories have been given to the authorities to immediately shift the people living in predictable flooding places to be moved to safety. Chief Minister M.K. Stalin has asked the district collectors to keep an eye on the water bodies as most of them have 50% of water already. 12 districts in delta areas have received 60% of rains and 17 districts have received more than 17% of rains till now. As squally weather is likely to prevail over South Bay of Bengal and North Tamil Nadu coast, fishermen have been advised not to venture into seas for almost another week. Joy, AIR News, Chennai.
In shooting, India's Saurabh Chaudhary has won the silver, while Abhishek Verma clinched bronze in the men's 10-meter air pistol at the inaugural edition of the President's Cup in Wrocław, Poland yesterday. Saurabh scored 24 points and Abhishek Verma finished with 21 points. India have now won 3 medals at the President's Cup. Manu Bhaker had won the mixed team 10-meter pistol gold with Iran's Javad Faroghi on the opening day. However, she failed to make to the finals of the women's 10-meter air pistol. In badminton, Indian shuttlers Lakshya Sen and Kidambi Srikanth's campaign at Hilo Open Super 500 Badminton Championship ended in semi-finals at Saarbrücken in Germany yesterday. In first semi-final, former champion and world number 21 Lakshya went down to world number 39 Singapore's Loh Kian Yew 18-21, 12-21. Srikanth lost to Malaysian Lee Zi Jia 19-21, 20-22 in the second semi-final match.
In the T20 Cricket World Cup, South Africa defeated England by 10 runs in Sharjah. Chasing the target of 190 runs, England could only make 179 for 8 in stipulated 20 overs. Earlier put into bat, South Africa scored 189 for 2 in 20 overs. Rassie van der Dussen's brilliant 94 and Aiden Markram's 52 helped South Africa to post the challenging total. Kagiso Rabada became the first South African to take a T20 international hat-trick. However, the win could not save South Africa a heartbreak as they failed to finish third despite having 8 points due to a lower net run rate than England and Australia. In the first match of the day, Australia defeated West Indies by 8 wickets in Abu Dhabi. In today's matches, New Zealand will take on Afghanistan in Abu Dhabi, while Pakistan will lock horn with Scotland in Sharjah. All India Radio will broadcast ball-by-ball commentary of the matches.
Now let us take a look at the weather forecast for today. The national capital Delhi is expected to have a partly cloudy sky in the morning and strong surface winds during the day. It recorded a minimum temperature of 15 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be 28 degrees. Mumbai has a forecast of a partly cloudy sky. It noted a minimum temperature of 24 degrees Celsius, while maximum is expected to be around 34 degrees. Chennai is likely to have generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. Maximum temperature will be 29 degrees Celsius. Kolkata will have mainly clear skies. City registered a minimum temperature of 19 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be nearly 29 degrees. Sky in Hyderabad will be partly cloudy, with temperature moving from a minimum of 19 degrees Celsius to a maximum of 31 degrees. Thiruvananthapuram will have generally cloudy sky with a few spells of rain or thunder showers. Puducherry will have generally cloudy sky with light rain. Guwahati may see a clear sky in the day. Imphal, Aizawl and Kohima are likely to have a mainly clear sky. Shillong and Agartala will witness partly cloudy sky.
And now an overview of today's newspapers. Daily COVID-19 cases hit 9-month low, reports The Hindu on the falling count. Rush of Delhiites at clinics reporting lung issues with air remaining toxic as stubble fires nearly double overnight, writes Hindustan Times. Emergency measure to curb toxic smog is a headline in The Pioneer over a photograph showing spraying of water to curb air pollution in the national capital, while The Times of India reports the doctor saying pollution may impact brain growth in healthy kids. To gauge the strength of the post-pandemic recovery, tracking proxy economic indicators along with government-issued GST collection is a story in the Economic Times under the headline, Economists Go the Extra Mile to Track Green Shoots. The Statesman cites BJP National Executive meet today, Vax UP polls on agenda. Again a COVID fire tragedy, 11 die in Maharashtra Government Hospital ICU, notes the Indian Express. And finally, even as major cities across North India registered an alarming spike in the air quality index, it was Green Diwali in Shimla with AQI only 40, the only Himachal city in good category, reports the Tribune.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. BJP National Executive to meet in New Delhi today to discuss forthcoming assembly elections and other issues. Prime Minister Narendra Modi rated the most popular world leader. India's COVID vaccination coverage crosses 108 crore mark. France to help India in advanced military technologies. Haryana government notifies Act for 75% reservation for local youth in private sector to come into force from January 15. Former Maharashtra Home Minister Anil Deshmukh sent to 14-day judicial custody in money laundering case. IMD warns of heavy rain in several areas in Maharashtra today. Normal life affected in Chennai and neighbouring districts due to overnight rains. India's Saurabh Chaudhary bags silver and Abhishek Verma bronze in men's 10-meter air pistol event at President's Cup shooting in Wrocław, Poland. And in T20 Cricket World Cup, South Africa beat England by 10 runs in Sharjah. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.